Morning, folks. I'm having to do another video here. This is not a video that I actually had expected to do, so I guess these are just one of the videos that you have to do what they call on the fly. But good morning. Wonderful Friday morning in the beautiful state of Florida. Thank God for living. I was just actually wanted to do a quick video for you real quick here because of a conversation that I actually was privy to. You know, sometimes you don't be intending on actually listening to conversations, but somehow, you know, things are being said that kind of gets you a little bit here, and it kind of makes you think about some things. It's actually going back to a video that I did regarding the issue with the issue with transgenders and such like that, you know, that sort of lifestyle and such. Like I said, you know, in that video that I did, I actually had covered a whole lot of things as far as, or what I thought I covered a whole lot of things as far as what the lifestyle was about and everything like that. And I think what it was is that I don't know if the exact person that I was actually listening to actually saw the video or not. You know, I don't know. YouTube is just one of those things. You never know who's actually looking at your videos and such like that. And next thing you know, you hear a conversation where someone mentions some of the things that you talk about. I don't know. It could be just, you know, a coincidence. I don't know. But I just feel that, you know, that was kind of funny. But my main thing is, like I say, I guess not to go ahead and reiterate the same thing over again. But the issue is that when you're actually living a lie, how can you be actually happy with yourself or your truth when you're actually all about lies? And for the most part, that's pretty much what the gist of that short video that I did. It was like, I guess, a couple of months back or whatever. That's what I was trying to get everyone who actually chose to listen to try to see my point of view. You can be and live whatever lifestyle you want. But one thing I will always say is that it is not okay to deceive people. And one thing about it is that being a transvestite, like I said, it still falls under the umbrella of homosexuality. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, you know, whatever. But you are deceiving folks, and you are actually being deceived in the process as well. So it's like a 2-for-1 deal. You are deceiving someone else, and you're actually being seduced, and, you know, by a lying spirit. One thing about it again is that people got to understand we're living in a time frame now where anything goes. You know, whatever makes me happy, you know, let me live my life. As long as I'm happy, everything should be all well and good. But what you got to understand is that there are consequences that have to be paid for the choices that we make, good or bad. And that's my whole point, is that you cannot go around life thinking that, okay, you know what, my actions are not going to affect anyone. One thing that I actually have tried to tell people, and I try to be as honest, because again, I know I'm not perfect. I have a lot of imperfections myself, and I'm not trying to sit there and say that I don't. But one thing that I would actually have to say, whatever you do, it's going to affect someone else, whether it's good or bad. I don't care if it's, you know, for things as simple as getting a bad grade on a report card or something like that. It's going to affect the parents, because guess what? The parent wants nothing more but the best for the child, and they know that in order to succeed in this world, you got to first of all master the basics, which of course, making good grades. So again, they're going to be upset and try to nurture and try to help the child in any way they can, maybe through getting a tutor or whatever the case may be, to help this person or this child of theirs to get their grades up. What I'm saying in short is that, again, it doesn't matter what you do, how insignificant you think it is, it's going to affect someone else. And my thing about it is that being seduced and being simple and actually listening to a lying spirit telling you that it's okay to live a lie, that is just so crazy. That's a big error in thinking. But for some reason, you know, I have people that actually, again, get upset when I try to talk to these, you know, and put out videos like that. Don't judge and stuff like that. Well, I beg to differ. The Bible did say that he gave us permission to judge certain situations. That means that he gave us that authority. He gave me the right. Like I said, I'm not trying to sit up here and point out anybody's sin or whatever the case may be, because that is not my job. My job is to judge according to the word of God, not according to what I think personally. And the thing about it, a lot of people are just not getting it. I don't understand. It's because if they just choose to not want to accept the word, which I think it is, but that is a requirement. And again, there is no right, there is nothing good about that lifestyle. There is nothing honorable. Because again, it all starts from the basis of a lie. No one likes to be lied to. I don't care if you even live in a lie. You don't want nobody to lie to you as well, even though you're trying to live a gender that you're not, or as close to a gender that you want to be, even though you're biologically, it says that you're not. No one likes to be lied to. No one wants to be deceived. But yet still, you figure that you, out of all people, are special enough to be granted the privilege to do so to other people. Oh yeah, I might piss somebody off with this one. I don't really care, because the issue is that when you talk about things like this, it strikes up a lot of emotions and stuff like that, and rightfully so, because again, you're dealing with human emotions. And when you're dealing with emotions, you're dealing with the heart. And the thing about it, that when you mess over someone's heart, sometimes that can cost people their lives. People die because again, they are automatically finding out the truth about something that they thought was something else the whole time. And now they're actually getting ready to wanting to set up a long-term relationship, possibly even a marriage to, these type of people that live these type of lives. And next thing you know, they have to come back. It's like they have to come back to reality, because now they've been slapped in the face now, because the person who they thought was a female or a male, because you do have them doing it both ways, they're like, this whole time I've revealed intimate secrets about you. I've revealed myself to you, my family. I even took you around my folks in some cases. And now I'm having to go back and tell them that I can't do this because you took my choice away from me on what I wanted to, or who I want to be with, all because of your selfishness and because of the fact that you are living one gender as opposed to the other. That is a bit much for the human mind to comprehend and to take. So I don't understand, why is it such a problem when someone else has an issue with it, but it's not a problem for you because you're dishing it out? To me, that is nothing more than selfishness. And the thing about it, again, is that it has no place. It has no right to dwell anywhere in humankind, even though it does, but I'm just saying. So what I don't understand is that, why would it even matter? Why would you care that and like I said, and I don't care, but it's just the fact about it, you have to be real. We're living in the same community. And at some point, at some point, you're going to confront it on some sort of level, whether it be directly or indirectly. So what I'm trying to get folks to understand, and again, you can take it as a grain of salt, it doesn't really matter, because I'm going to speak my piece, because this is my video. You cannot sit up there and actually want the truth when you're actually living the lie. You want somebody to actually be truthful to you, but you are the biggest deceiver, because you can't even be truthful with yourself and come to terms and say, you know what, I need to straighten up myself, because what I'm doing is I'm telling other folks the truth, but I'm lying in the process. To me, to tell the truth, it surprises me that the transgender community they think about every other thing and think of every other reasons about stuff and to pick issues and stuff, but yet still they don't even talk about the common basic stuff. That's what gets me. And I don't understand that. I really don't. And the thing about it is that I'm still trying to grasp and still trying to understand why they are afraid. And the thing about it, I believe, honestly, and this is just my personal opinion, I don't think that they are actually, I don't think that they're actually, I don't think that they actually don't know to talk about it. I just think that they are just ignoring it. Because see, one thing, they may be brave in a whole lot of stuff, but there's just some things that they won't touch. There are some truths and some concepts that they will not touch. And the thing about it, they know if they were to touch it, next thing you know, you'll have a whole bunch of people there to dispute everything that they have to say, and they won't even have a comeback. So again, here we go. It's all about the ego thing again, too. All of this is actually intertwined into this thing. The more that you talk about this and include the wisdom and, and logical thinking, and in some cases, spiritual, biblical thinking, this particular issue branches off into a whole bunch of other avenues. Like I say, it's all about wanting to be accepted at all costs, whether it means, you having to live a lie and possibly die in that lie and bust hell wide open. Yeah. But the issue is that you have to call it out for what it is. Pure and plain deception, being deceived, listening to a lying spirit, listening to lies that is somehow convincing you that you are telling the truth. So my thing is this, people are going to have their opinions. And the thing about it, they may even look at this and listen to this video and say, okay, you know what, he's voicing his opinion. And you know what, you have your right to view it however you want to. I can't infringe upon your right. Like I said, you have the right to think, for whatever opinion you want. But my thing about it is that, again, you cannot ignore what is actually the truth and what is actually important. Out of everything, the Bible is what's going to stand. And the word of God is what's going to stand. And like I say, I'm not here to sit up here and try to beat anybody down with the word of God, because that is not my job. My job is to be an ambassador to the kingdom. And I'm trying to do that as best as I can. But it gets hard sometimes because, like I say, some temptations, you know, none of us are exempt from it. You know, some things that we get involved in, we have to go back and say, Lord, help me to overcome, you know, and this sort of thing. But there's just some things, again, that are just so plain on the surface too. You just cannot believe that folks are willing to argue for it and be, you know, in agreement with it. And, you know, it's crazy. But like I say, you know, it's just, to me, it just baffles my mind though. You know, how in the world can someone actually really want to even take the time out to argue something that is so dishonest? If you're going to sit there and argue about something, at least argue about something that is or if you will call it debate or whatever, talk about something that is actually rooted in truth. If you're going to talk about something. Okay, but you sitting up here actually wanting to sit up here and talk about something that is already, that is on the surface, that starts off and rooted in the untrue lies, then guess what? You're going to kind of have a hard leg to stand on. No pun intended. I mean, because again, you know, everything that you're actually going to be arguing with is based off of emotion. There's not going to be any truth in it whatsoever. All of your opinions, all of your points that you're going to make is going to be based off of emotion, which we all know is a bit flawed, because guess what? We're starting to try to appeal to folks again by tugging at their heartstrings. And the thing about it, with some folks, it works. And with other folks, you know, it may, you know, be, you know what? Because again, some, you know, folks know the truth. The issue is that, and folks know that the truth is rooted in the Bible. A lot of people don't want to read the Bible. Why? Because it's going to point out some issues, what they're doing that they're not trying to hear and they're not trying to come up out of. But like I say, just hold on a minute. Now, I still got more to say about this. You hold on right there. Sorry for that brief interruption there. But one thing that I was still trying to get a hold of, just to try to let folks know, you have to stay rooted in your truth. You have to stay rooted in your truth. And the thing about it is that with a lot of lying and deceptions and everything that's going on in these last days here, folks are going to be coming to you with all kind of false doctrine and everything else. And the Bible simply tells us to react to it in one way, and that's to shun it and ignore it. Because again, when you actually, you know, are rooted in the word of God and you actually know the word of God and you have it hidden in your heart, you're going to actually know when someone is trying to tell you something and they're trying to base it off of their personal feelings as opposed to what the word of God says. That's why, you know, I'm not sitting up here trying to castigate or judge, you know, as some say harshly. But the thing about it, the Bible does permit us to judge, you know, some things he does give us the authority to judge. And the thing about it again is that whenever you're actually telling someone to come up out of their sin or whatever the case may be, I would expect for them not to be happy about it, because again, nobody likes to be told when they're doing something wrong. You know, we want to feel that we're doing something right. And not only do we want to be told, we actually want folks to back us up in it as well. But being, you know, deceiving yourself and then deceiving others is not an honorable thing. And it's not something that I will ever stand for. You know, it's something that I will, you know, and like I say, sometimes we all, again, fall victim to certain things or whatever the case may be. But my thing is this: when you actually know better, you're expected to do better. And that's just a plain and simple, that's just, you know, no other way of putting it. So the thing about it again is that, you know, I was just kind of taken back as, you know, why, you know, folks would get offended for being mad when they're being deceived, when you are actually the deceiver. You want someone to accept you. But the thing about it, you can't accept the fact that, you know, they just choose that they actually don't agree with what you're doing. And then when you come out of the closet, as you say, you know, you want folks to accept you for 100, but you wasn't giving them your 100 the whole time. Some of them say, oh yes I was, you know, the thing about it, I really care for them and stuff like this, you know, I just didn't think that it was just that time I was going to tell them in the future. No, I ain't trying to hear none of that. Because the thing about it is that you pretty much know from the moment that someone meets you, you already know for the most part if they're going to be interested in actually, you know, pursuing other things, if you know what I will. It just takes some time to get to that point, but you pretty much know when you've actually really captured the interest of somebody. And it's at that time that you actually need to come clean, if you will, to let them know, hey, you know what, I'm not who you think I am. You know, I was born this way, but, you know, I'm wanting to do this, that, and the other, okay? You know, like I say, you can kind of, and I'm not saying accept that, but you can kind of maybe see, okay, and know, okay, you know what? At least this person already told this fella or whoever, what the issue is and the thing about it. Now, if you're into that, okay, then that it is what it is. But the issue is that with being a transgender, you've taken away someone's choices on what they want. That's all. You've taken away their right to choose. And a lot of people, again, don't take kindly to that. And you cannot get mad. Now, one thing I will not condone is the taking, the taking of the life of someone. I don't ever condone murder, in situations like that. I don't condone that. But the issue is, you got to look at the facts. A lot of people are not logically thinking people these days. You got people that just don't think like logical, regular, standard human beings. You do them wrong, they're ready to kill you. So why put yourself, and see another thing too, they don't understand that is a very, and I think I said this in that video as well, and I guess it's worth repeating, that is a very dangerous lifestyle. It is a very dangerous lifestyle because, again, you never know what could be the possible end result. Everybody wants to be, well, I should say most people want to be in a committed relationship. When you meet someone, you think that is the one, you want to say, okay, you know what, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Or, whatever. Unless you're a thought who thinks, okay, you know what, I just want to have a one night stand or just just a night of pleasure and move on to someone else. Everybody, for the most part, when they get involved with someone, they want, to think, and if they're saying that that's the one, they want to actually see if this could be to lead to a long-term committed relationship. But again, no one, well, I should say most people, because these days, people are into almost anything and everything imaginable under the sun. But with the sane ones, I will put, as few as they may be, they don't like to be deceived. And if they're saying, okay, if you're actually presenting yourself as a female or as a male, they are expecting for you to be that from birth. Not having to sit up there later on in life or a couple years into the relationship, or even in some cases a couple of months into the relationship, come to find out you are living another thing as opposed to what you're supposed to be. Like I said, that's a lot to take in. And not everybody is actually able to digest that, because number one, they're going to feel, okay, you know what, I've been with you, so that must now makes me gay. Little stupid things like that. But like I say, it's different strokes for different folks. I get that. But again, there's just some things that should not even be delved into, in my opinion. And some things, again, you can't demand from other folks that you're not willing to, give yourself. And again, and that's all about being honest with, your dealings with folks. First of all, being honest with yourself, because if you're not honest with yourself, you can't be honest with other folks. And the thing about it again is that if you just must choose to live that lifestyle, it is your responsibility to let folks know up front what they're getting into, and let them be the one to make the decision as to whether or not they want to pursue you or continue, chasing you, even though you are living a lie. So, that's all that I pretty much have to say about that. Like I say, I may have upset some people, but it is what it is. I don't make any apologies, for speaking the truth, because what I like to speak, I want it to actually be rooted in the Word of God. Like I say, I know I'm not perfect, and I know I have a lot of things that I have to come up in, and a lot of things that I have to ask God, Lord, continue to be patient with me. Lord, help me to work to get this thing right. Again, because again, you're soon to come for the second time. But again, there's just some things that needs to be addressed right now. So y'all continue to peace out, and like I say, you all be blessed. That's all that I have for you for now. Thanks.